Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a GM game between Zylophone and DieZaCRo on Orbital Shipyard. Yes, this is the old interface. A few of you enjoy it because of the 3D portraits, which are, yes, I admit, very, very awesome. But I do prefer my Servant OBS interface, so this will not last for long, but just enjoy it while you can. In the bottom left of Orbital Shipyard, we have the red Terran player. It is Zylophone. And in the top right of Orbital Shipyard, we have the blue Zerg player. It is DieZaCRo. This was sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com. You too can send your replays to that address. If they are bronze or silver, label them Into the Void. I do one of those every week on Friday. If they are gold through diamond, go ahead and select them as mid-rank madness. And if they're masters or GM, just go ahead and put that in the subject as well. And we'll get everybody covered, we'll get everybody a chance in the sun. And I know a lot of people enjoy those casts, and if you don't, that's fine. We still have 14 total GM and pro level casts every single week, 2 per day, every day of the week. And that should make you really happy here on Falcon Paladin's channel. I also have a couple new shirts in the store. If you haven't seen that in a while, go ahead and check it out. There's a link in the description. And there's also a link in the end of this cast on the little music thing. Also new music from Seabeats. Just so many announcements today. A new song from Seabeats here at the end of this cast. Enjoy that. I know a lot of you people love his stuff. And if you don't, you can just go to the next video too, so that's fine. Again, everybody is happy here on the channel. If you're new, welcome aboard. I have gotten a pretty good influx of subscribers as of late. And again, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing my stuff on Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and all those great places. I know a lot of people still haven't found out about Falcon Paladin. We have a long way to go, but made some really good progress recently, hitting 7,000 subscribers, which I'm very, very happy about. So, all right, enough of the business stuff. We're going to take a look at what is actually happening here, and the answer is Reaper. Reaper expand, and there was a hatch extractor pool play here from DieZaCRo. Very standard stuff indeed. These players are just playing it safe. They're going for a fairly solid macro opener, but again, it's not enough to actually lose to any crazy early openings as well. It wasn't a 3 hatch before pool. It wasn't a 3 command center before racks. Nothing too insane like that. And here comes Zylophone. In here with his Reaper, he's going to try to kill some workers, or at the very least, just get a scout off and see if there's anything weird happening here from his Zerg opponent. There are 4 lings. They're going to catch him here on the creep, and no, dodge the KD8 charge just barely. Does force the Reaper away. The Reaper did take actually quite a bit of damage there. A little bit too long on the creep, I think. Didn't get any kills. Didn't really scout if that base was there. But again, the number of lings that are out, and I think he did see the Roach Warren. Let's take a look at that. He did scout out the Roach Warren. Nicely done, Reaper. Production tab just showed that Roach Warren's just about to finish. There are 2 more barracks on the way for DieZaCRo, and a factory, which tells him you're going to see a fairly standard play with a bio heavy mixed in with maybe some liberators. And actually he's going to kill. No, the Reaper does end up surviving with a single kill to his name. I think he killed a ling there. I forget. I can't see exactly the units lost here, but anyway, the resources lost. The Overlord just trying to scout in and seeing pretty much what's going on. Seeing the barracks again, seeing the factory. Is going to see the other 2 barracks is the question, and he does. He sees those just fine. So this Overlord knows what's going on and is going to happily report that information back to the Overmind before he has exploded, as he was. The Roaches, using that melee attack animation, when they're right up close to stuff, they actually kind of stab stuff with the little horns on their heads. You can see those. Instead of shooting with acid, it does the same amount of damage. It's just kind of a different thing. Hydralisks have the same setup as well. So here comes the Roaches. They do have some aggression on their mind. They're going to try to get up through here. Roaches and Ravagers can do it. Roaches by themselves, not a great choice. But Ravagers with that corrosive bile ability can knock down supply depots, can take out add-ons, which is excellent as well. Getting rid of reactors and tech labs really bothers Zerg just because or Terran players, because it takes so long for them to rebuild those add-ons. Overlord scouting to make sure there's not a 3rd base coming. There's not. I don't think there's another command center in process here for DieZaCRo, but here come the Roaches. Are they going to make Ravagers? There we go. Single Ravager. And the Roaches are going to go from the low ground here and try to get rid of the supply depot. The reaction time from our friend Zylophone is a little bit too late, and indeed it is going to fall. Tank does go into siege mode, going to chase away these Roaches, get a single splash off. Corrosive bile being thrown down, that's enough to move the Marines back. Getting that supply depot, getting this supply depot would be nice as well. Ravagers using their extended range, a range of 6 here. Meanwhile, Roaches have a range of 4. Same amount of damage, but again, Ravagers with that extra range and that corrosive bile ability are an excellent, excellent choice, especially against a player that's going heavy tanks, especially because Ravagers are not armored units. You see this here? They are regular biological units, whereas roaches are armored biological units, which means they take extra damage from these tanks. It's a difference of 35 to 50, which is a big stinking deal. Roaches 145 hit points, Ravagers 120, so a little bit fewer hit points, but not taking that extra damage from Marauders and from tanks is a big stinking deal. DieZaCRo getting more and more roaches, getting glial reconstitution, Zylophone, getting a starport, more tanks, more Marauders, more Marines, and stim. So just kind of hanging back. Zylophone hasn't been too aggressive. I'm surprised we haven't seen any drops quite yet. I suppose the starport isn't finished yet. He wanted to have enough to deal with that early aggression that was coming out of DieZaCRo. He did hold it off. I mean, he lost 2 supply depots, which was kind of a problem. He never actually got supply blocked, though, which is nice. I like to see that from players when they're under duress, if they can continue to replace that supply that they're losing at the same time continuing to build up their army, which is exactly what Zylophone did. DieZaCRo getting +1 missile attack, which tells me we're going to see probably a big Ravager Roach composition, possibly some Hydras mixed in. There is a lair here, but no sign of a Hydra den just quite yet. Just kind of sticking on this Roach Hydra, which is pretty good in the early game, but you really need to tech to something else to make this work against Terran, has been my experience and what I've seen. And here comes a Marine, going to scout things out and die immediately to Roaches and Ravagers. Doesn't really tell tell our friend Zylophone anything new. An Overseer checking things out here, see if there's a third base yet. There's not, but there is a command center on the way. Spore Crawlers coming up, just because if you're playing against Terran, might as well get some Spore Crawlers up at certain places. And where the heck is that guy? Oh, over here, worrying about drops. Overseer getting shooed away by these Marines. Changeling tries to drop in, gets murdered as well. Changelings, I don't know if they have very fun existences. They're dropped and then they're little pieces of goo until they transform into something that's not actually them, and then they die. So I don't know, probably a sad existence, but I'm not sure the Overmind or Kerrigan cares about them necessarily. Marine checking for a 4th base. There's not one. These Overlords will scout them out. The question is, will the Marine be able to kill the Overlord before reinforcements show up? Scouting on in again is this Overseer, and finally does end up dying. Supply blocking DieZaCRo just a little bit there. Bit of a surprise. He does have 2 Overlords on the way to replace those, but for the time being, cannot spend his money. And here come the drops. Oh, scouted perfectly, though. Did he see it? Is the question. Oh no, I don't know if he saw it. Spore Crawler, Queen here, not enough to deal with 2 full medevacs. Full of drops here, and the answer is no. Spore Crawler almost going to take out that, and focusing it down with the Queen. The medevac does end up dead. That's a nice job there by DieZaCRo. These Marines on the ground are all there are, but they are being healed. They are killing Overlords. They are killing Queens. They're chasing away Roaches as well. 11 Roaches in production. Another Overlord falls. DieZaCRo is supply blocked. Oh no, DieZaCRo. All of the drones huddle together for warmth and protection, but that it does not actually work against Marines. They start massacring these drones. A big drop attack at the front door here. DieZaCRo going for it. Corrosibile taking out the tank, moving back on down. Too many Marines, too many Marauders here. These Marines are still alive. Oh no, so many workers have died here for DieZaCRo. Pushing up again, though, is our Zerg player. But again, too many Marines, too many Marauders at the top of this ramp. Actually catching a couple units with Corrosibile, which is a nice job. But all these units finally do get cleaned up. All the Marines are gone. The Roaches that pop out deal with it. Pretty good concave here from DieZaCRo, and yes, pushing the Terran player back, not allowing the Terran to take a 3rd base at this point. But the Roaches, no, don't be there. There are 2 tanks and a Liberator that could be used for Defender mode, but wasn't for the time being. Running around with the small group of Roaches. Production tab shows continued Roach production from DieZaCRo, getting a macro hatch. I like to see that as well. Having a hard time spending your money, go ahead and get that macro hatch. I'm not sure. Again, I just don't know if DieZaCRo can stick on Roach Ravager for the entire time here. He either needs Banelings or Ultras, or even Infestors would be nice. Vipers can be good as well in this situation, but again, I just get the feeling DieZaCRo might be sticking on this Roach Ravager composition until come hell or high water. Zylophone is working on more and more Liberators, getting an armory for those upgrades. Actually, does he have engineering bays yet? I don't think he does. Not really worrying about upgrades at this point. Just going to use, I think, the armory possibly for upgrades for the Liberator. No. There it is. Getting Terran weapons level 2. So he does... Oh, here they are. Doop de doop. Engineering bay is there. He did finish +1 on his infantry weapons and armor. So nicely done there by our Terran player. +2 missile attack coming up from DieZaCRo. 4th base here for DieZaCRo. I think it's a bit of a hidden base there. Zylophone does not know where it is. He's scouting up here, which is a more natural place to take it. But here comes Marine number 2. Scouting on out to see if this base can be discovered, and guess what? The answer is yes. Yes, it can. Both players just sitting back, macroing up. The income tab shows 54 to 59 harvesters. DieZaCRo is up in that count, but income about the same. A little bit more gas coming in for DieZaCRo, which makes sense. Zerg is more of a gas-heavy race, especially if the Terran is just going bio with a few tanks mixed in. Flying tanks here as well. All the rage right now for the Terran. For the Terran army, the Marine does end up getting acid salivated to death. But he did scout out the hatchery, so he did his job. This guy has no hit points at all. Man, they sent out the injured guy to do scouting? Are you serious? I hate my job. I'm trying to kill overlords. Everyone's trying to get rid of me just because I'm already injured. They don't want to spend money on my health care. Here we go, Corrosive Biles whipping there entirely. Pretty good concave here, though, if he wants it for DieZaCRo, but no. Just retreating. Couple of Ravagers trying to morph in, and one gets killed. The other one as well going to get slowed, and no, does manage to escape. Corrosive Bile landing a little bit there, doing some damage to this ball. I like the composition from Zylophone. Marines, Marauders, and Liberators picking up, moving on out with tanks and medevacs. This page under siege. Defender mode circles being deployed here at the top of this ramp. Coming from the low ground is DieZaCRo. Corrosive Biles being thrown down. Can the tanks get picked up? Two of them do not. Unfortunately, but the hatchery ends up falling almost immediately. Reinforcing units getting cut out here in the open, though. DieZaCRo doing a great job with that. +2 missile attack just about to finish, and there it is. Now it is finished. I like the chances here for DieZaCRo. Unless Corrosive Biles unless Defender mode circles are a problem here. Roaches and Ravagers against Marines and Marauders. The upgrades are, again, a little bit better here for DieZaCRo. I think with the +2 attack, it's really helping him out. The Liberator's not doing much of anything at all. A lot of Marines are dying. You can hear their little death sounds as they fall to this giant roach ball with a single Ravager mixed in. Again, the attack, they do 20 damage with the acid saliva. Pretty good attack speed as well. Marines just don't have enough hit points to deal with that. I think it needs more Marauders. Zylophone retreating back on home. None too happy with himself there. Liberators running in once again, going to throw down those defender mode circles. Ravagers good for that. Corrosive Bile on top of stationary targets right here, landing it right where you can see it is what you want to do there. So fourth base now coming up here for Zylophone. That Roach managed to deny that just temporarily all by his lonesome. Nice job, son. 186 to 128 total supply. Zylophone is down a little bit here. +1 Carapace on the way for DieZaCRo. Defender mode getting a shot there. 2 kills on that Liberator. +3 attack for Zylophone. +2 armor just about to finish. And weapons level 2 on the way for our Terran player. Fourth base being replanted by DieZaCRo. And again, just really sticking with this Roach Ravager stuff. I mean, it's 12 minutes into the game. It doesn't seem that long, but in Legacy of the Void, that is a pretty darn good chunk of time here. Corrosive Biles, can they kill the Orbital Command? No, not quite able to get it there. More Ravagers morphing on in. I'm not sure if that's the great choice here. Trying to catch it once more, bringing it down into the orange, but not quite enough to the point where it is burning, which is, I think, what DieZaCRo was trying to do. Retreating here, recognizing there's a lot of Liberators, a lot of tanks. These guys, again, are +2, +2. +3 Marines and Marauders. Very, very strong indeed. DieZaCRo needs some kind of tier 3 units to deal with that. Broodlords might be good here. Some idle drones could be getting back to work. Fifth base on the way for DieZaCRo. Scouting Marine here again. I like that Xylophone's scouting as much as he is. Trying to make sure that nothing happens without him knowing about it. And the Marine, can he survive long enough to get there? And the answer is no. I mean, I think he saw some creep, but I don't know if he actually knows there's a hatchery there or not. Zylophone says, whatever, we're going to head up and check it out no matter what. Zylophone getting a planetary fortress at this base, an excellent choice for defending your base against those terrible, terrible Zerg players. And moving on down, DieZaCRo. And a big attack here once again. Roaches, Ravagers against Marines and Marauders. Defender mode circles, forcing the entire army to retreat up this ramp to a more advantageous strategic position for DieZaCRo. And Zylophone does not want to attack up that at all. He needs to get Corrosive Biles on these Liberators, or needs Corruptors to deal with them. Zylophone is continuing to get those Marines and those Marauders and tanks. DieZaCRo is going to finish his infestation pay here in just a second. +2 armor. Ground Carapace as well for these units, but I'm not sure if it's enough here. Here they come. Corrosive Biles being thrown down everywhere. Zylophone not dodging particularly well, but again, wow, a lot of Liberators dying there to Corrosive Bile. Units taking out drones on the right side, but coming from the left side, again, all of these Ravagers and these Roaches just shooting with their acid saliva attacks here, forcing Zylophone back and back and back. Tanks are falling. Are the reinforcements enough to turn the tide for Zylophone? I think it is. DieZaCRo moving back with his Ravagers. There are just not enough here. They're trying to corrosive bile their way into victory, getting some good hits, and it does force Zylophone back, but the tanks are now in position to threaten this 4th base. He needs to retreat these drones now. Get out of here, drones. Run for your lives, drones, and no, they're not going to do it. Spinecrawler is still here with very little hit points, and it does end up falling with the hatchery. Sporecrawler trying to get some shots off on these medevacs, not quite able to do it. The ranged tank is going to finish it off. However, there is still this base here for DieZaCRo. 54 to 47 harvesters, though the Terran player on 3 bases, feeling very comfortable indeed right now. It is 138 to 124 total supply. And I think right now Zylophone might be just going for the kill here. What does our units tab look like? 9 roaches, 21 ravagers against 13 marauders, 31 marines, 5 medevacs, and a siege tank. Again, one of the keys here for ZVT, for Zerg players, is get rid of those medevacs. Bring in some corruptors. Bring in some mutas. Get rid of, do something. Because the longer they exist, the more energy they have, and the greater they can make these units more powerful. Again, forcing back here DieZaCRo with a pretty strong army once again, but I just don't know that it is enough. Corrosive Biles are landing. Stutter stepping forward, though, is Zylophone. Corrosive Bile does take out a medevac, but is not enough. There are 3 medevacs here healing up all these guys. They are stimming. They have +3, +2, and that's it. A good game, well played from DieZaCRo. Zylophone is victorious. DieZaCRo has left the game. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our TVZ for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, falconpaladin@gmail.com is where you want to send them. Zylophone just, I think, did a great job being aggressive. The early game maybe wasn't the greatest. He kind of allowed DieZaCRo to get 3 bases without really bothering him too much. But he was able to defend. The attack from DieZaCRo failed pretty miserably. He spent a lot of larvae and a lot of money on roaches and ravagers, killed a couple supply depots, and that was really about it. That drop back here was massive for DieZaCRo. Zylophone, yeah, basically DieZaCRo lost a lot of stuff there. Zylophone was able to hold against the attack that was coming at the same time from DieZaCRo, and I think that was really what turned the game in the end. Upgrades were great for our Terran player. DieZaCRo, again, kind of got stuck on that Roach Ravager composition a little bit too long. Continuing to make roaches against Marauders is just not a great choice at all if you are Zerg. So that's it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter and Facebook, both at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thanks for watching, and you take care of yourself.